Let's get some insight now into the impeachment trial this week. Senior political analyst Brit Hume joins us. Good evening, Brit. There's a sense on Capitol Hill that not only Republicans but Democrats may want to move this thing quickly.
Well, I don't think it may be the case that the Democrats are waking up to the possibility that this impeachment trial will not redound to their political credit, because much of the country will not really see the point in trying to convict a man and remove him when he's already gone. Apart from that, the case that Trump incited the mob by what he said on the day of the riot seems a little weak in light of the fact that the president explicitly encouraged these protesters to go to Capitol Hill and protest, as he put it, peacefully and patriotically. I think the case would be better made if, as Trey Gowdy has suggested, our new contributor, that if they made the case that his failure to act when the riot started might be grounds, or, in my view, all the stuff he pumped into the brains of his supporters about the election being stolen, which clearly animated a lot of them to come to Washington, might be a better ground. But nonetheless, clearly they want to get it over with, and we probably will only see a trial of a matter of a few days, judging by the schedule that Mike just articulated.
Right, this is just one count, and it's the incite count. Georgia officials have opened up an investigation into what he did on the phone call with the Georgia Secretary of State down there, other avenues, but this is just that one count. As far as the political impact, if, as expected, just looking at the numbers, he is acquitted, what do you think it means for the future of the Trump political force?
Well, if history is any guide, and we have recent history on this, Brett, I mean, he was impeached once before. There was a trial. He was acquitted. Nancy Pelosi, I can remember, obviously thinking this was going to be a stain that was going to last and affect the outcome of the upcoming election. The thing dropped out of sight. It was never mentioned in the fall campaign by politicians in either party that I'm aware of. It was certainly not mentioned by either presidential candidate. It just dropped like a stone. So I don't think there's any good reason to believe that this will leave a lasting mark, unless if he were convicted and the vote succeeded to bar him thereafter from federal office. That obviously would affect his political career. But if he's not convicted, I think this thing just disappears in probably a matter of months.
I wanted to ask you this while I had you. Over the weekend, former Secretary of State George Shultz died at the age of 100. I had the opportunity to interview him for my book about Reagan, 3 Days in Moscow, and was fascinated to hear his stories. And I just wanted to get your thoughts on really someone who was instrumental in the Reagan years and really in foreign policy overall.
Brett, he was one of the most consequential cabinet officers and public officials of our time, leading up and through the Reagan administration and beyond. He was very smart, very self-confident, very public-spirited, a very decent, honorable man, set a great example. And, I think, for years to come, historians will look at him and give him great credit for the service he performed. He was a fine man.